This video is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com, where you can find cool stuff in stock.
Hello, and welcome back to another day in the arena. It's me, it's CGB. Today in the arena, we're going in on one of my favorite little tricks when I'm out of new piles to play. I grab a Mythic, preferably from the new set, and preferably a Planeswalker, because people gravitate to those, and I build a deck around that card. So today we are building a deck, playing a deck, showing off a deck that I call Twin Magic. Twin Magic, yeah, if you've heard it before, it's what the Bella twins called the just stupid nonsense they did when they were wrestlers. I know. Really cool reference, CGB. You watch wrestling? I do. Anyway, the Twin Magic revolves around this card. Rowan, Scholar of Sparks / Will, Scholar of Frost. The lore for Strixhaven was centered mostly on these two. The main storyline was these two and Professor Onyx, who is another fun build around we might have to do in the near future. And I haven't put these two in a deck because the impact from the cards didn't seem too powerful, but there is a lot to these. For one thing, there's a million modes, and in a nutshell, the ones that you need to know about. The +1 for Rowan doesn't do much. The -4, where you get an emblem, and this is a 3-mana Planeswalker that starts at 2 loyalty, ticks up to 3, is only 2 turns away. So if you can play Rowan on 3 and then defend her for 2 turns, you can -4, get this emblem that says whenever you play an instant or a sorcery spell, you may pay 2. If you do, copy that spell. Well, copying spells is a powerful effect, as we have definitely learned. Both Will and Rowan have this text on them, a passive that instants and sorceries cost 1 less to cast, which is cool. It means there's some amount of ramp tied to either side of the Planeswalker. The bad news is you have to defend your Planeswalker, but if you build a deck around doing that and you kind of approach the meta around doing that, I think it's more possible than you think. The +1 on Will is a really sweet one for a red-blue deck. It says up to 1 creature gets base power and toughness 0-2 until your next turn. That means if your opponent has an Elder Gargaroth, you can +1 and turn it into an 0-2, and then you can, say, kill it with a Frostbite, or a Stomp, or a Crush the Weak, or a Prismari command. You know, the cards that deal 2 damage to something. The -3 lets you draw 2 cards, which is a good return. You get 2 cards and a Planeswalker on the board. That's actually really good if you can keep Will from dying, and it's okay if Will does die. You get 2 cards. And then the -7 I've never actually done before, but exile up to 5 permanents. For each permanent exiled, his controller creates a 4/4 blue and red elemental creature token. It's a little awkward because in this style of deck that I'm playing, most of our permanents are lands, so I don't necessarily want to Wrath, like Armageddon myself to make 4/4s. If the opponent has a sweeper, I completely Armageddon to myself. Seems bad. Anyway, but for the most part, what we're going to do WinCon wise is we're going to take a lot of turns and we're going to copy it when we do. So the goal is to get a Rowan emblem and then cast Alrund's Epiphany and copy Alrund's Epiphany, so we get 4 birds and 2 extra turns. During those 2 extra turns, we can do a lot of things. We might find and cast more Alrund's Epiphanies and copy them and take all the turns, or we might just power up Faceless Haven or put out a Bone Crusher Giant and attack the opponent to death with those things. While the deck looks light on win cons, it doesn't scream like this will win the game in 2 or 3 turns, but Bone Crusher, Epiphany, and Faceless Haven and Rowan, they've gotten the job done. I haven't actually felt like I was short on win cons at any real point. The opponents don't usually scoop as often either because they're waiting for the Goldspan Dragon, but we are not a Goldspan Dragon deck. That card doesn't necessarily play well with Rowan and Will. It doesn't defend them because it has to attack, and there are a lot of people out there prepared for Goldspan Dragon. So this is it's almost like we take the Dragon Tempo deck, the Prismari Dragon Tempo deck, we remove the tempo and the dragons, and we just turn it into a full Prismari control build built around these Planeswalkers. And I've been impressed with the results so far. Make sure you watch to the end and check out the deck list link that goes to the untapped.gg profile. It can give you all the stats on how the deck performs. Potential spoiler alert, as you may while reviewing that, see some of the games from today's video. But do check that out, and if you happen to download untapped.gg, it does support the channel. Another way to support the channel is to hit the join button below. There are special perks for members, and I really appreciate all of you who have signed up. Over 400, like 430 some members. You guys are really cool. Welcome to the Cool Kids Club. Thanks for representing. I do appreciate the support here as the streak turns 874. I have uploaded an MTG video for 874 days in a row through some of the nastiest metas and some of the stalest metas when other people are all out reminding themselves how to play Hearthstone or going outside. I'm here putting out that video, and if you appreciate it, like, subscribe, watch the content. Watching the content is supporting the content, and I always appreciate it. And yeah, consider getting a Cool Kids Club membership by hitting the join button. Now let's dive in. Let the nonsense begin. Ladder, prepare yourself for twin magic. The end of season rank decay is on. Like, I started the day at 200. I played like 2 or 3 games, and I'm already, holy crap. But it wasn't with this deck. Don't be hard on this deck because I said that. You guys think you know everything. You know nothing. All right, whatever. Whatever. Tapped lands are sad. Bone Crusher is happy. Rowan is why we're here. 2 Epiphanies is silly. Untapped land. Untapped land. Come on. We'll take it. Less mana, please. All right. Do I get a land? Green, white. This might be some kind of adventure pile. We do get a land. I did not expect it to actually work. All right, we have to get rid of this before it gets too big. I would love, though, to combine this with this, but they've already played a bunch of smaller creatures, so the Crush the Weak might be really good. This is already tricky. Scoos. That's a lot of little critters for Crush, but these all grow, so we have to keep removing them. I guess I'm not going to get a 2-for-1 off Crush the Week anytime soon. The hits just keep on coming. Let's see what we can find with Expressive Iteration. It's a really good draw here to make sure that we get our land. All right, into hand goes the Soul Seer. Bottom goes the Rowan, and here comes Faceless Haven. So we can play the 4/3, or we can Soul Seer this. The opponent probably has ways to make this bigger, as well as hexproof, because they're in blue-white. Green-white, sorry. But we can next turn double spell Rowan and Soul Seer if we want, or we can play Will. I'll play the Giant. It's kind of an interesting choice there. Could definitely cascade through the game, too. Sparring Regimen. Go get Environmental Sciences. Fix those mana problems. If they attack, we're definitely blocking. Because now they don't have a creature to go with their regimen. Are we going to Will draw 2? Will draw 2? Or do we go for... I think... I really want to go for the emblem with 2 Epiphanies. You know what I mean? Will draw 2 is smarter. And I'm glad we did, because we have a lot of land to get through, apparently. Remember, it's like Teferi, but 2 cards. So busted. Wow, you are an O2. How do you like it? You need to slow down. All right. Let's talk. If we play you... Epiphany costs 1 less. We still can't cast it. This is going to get a counter as well. We can power up the Haven to block, which is kind of interesting. Oh, what the heck? What are we waiting for? What are we waiting for? Let's get the birds. The birds blocking. That's what it's all about. I know, I just want to Emblem Epiphany so bad. It's a hard It's a hard thing to turn down, okay?
If the Prismari want spectacle, I'll give them a show.
Just take a moment and
Let bolts you can take.
I don't know if you hear those voice lines, but hearing twins argue with each other was not my idea of quality vocal acting content. Ugh. I actually don't like Rowan's voice. My wife did did the series with me on the lore, and Rowan was a major character in it, and I liked her Rowan voice a lot more. Just gonna say it. Just gonna say it. Wizards should look into her.
you need to sit this one out.
She's a talent.
Aren't so different.
All right, let's pound away. Blockers? Who needs blockers? Let's set up with Foretell. Toski, well, can't counter it, but we can Soul Sear it because it loses Indestructible. But is that the play? I guess whatever they attack with the bounty, we can block. Don't do it. Okay. They did it. Nom. All right. Twin magic from the get-go. Nice. All right, we've got lands, we got removal, card draw, extra turn on the play. Our opponent is Yorion, though. So the Frostbite just got worse. I think I'd keep the hand regardless, though. Blue mana. I see you are also a person of culture. I think we just go for this. Make him have the answer on turn 2 to a Planeswalker.
Just practice.
Bolt, yeah. Yeah, you better hurry. You play your Omen. That's rude. That's not great. That's not one that they get to do every day. That's not great at all. Ah, that is not something that everybody has. Oh, that makes me salty. All right. So, hand. Oh, it should have been you. Oh, I was too salty. It should have been you. We needed that counter spell. Although taking a lot of turns might catch them off guard. Let's see if they ramp this turn so that they can threaten an ultimatum next turn. That's something too. I didn't dare mumble it, but I was secretly thinking we're gonna draw another Frostbite. All right, guys, is it Epiphany time? I think I'd rather try to find a counter spell. Why did I play the land? What is the matter with me? I'm so bad today. It's gonna be all right, but we didn't find a counter anyway. I guess Glimpse still might, so we'll put that in the exile zone and put this in our hand. I gotta slow down. I'm playing like an idiot. Still no counterspell. A third all runs Epiphany, though. Cool. And now, if we foretell this, the opponent will probably cast an ultimatum. So let's say go and make them at least think about it. So Rowan is 1, 2, 3. This is 4. So we need one more land in addition to this one to play this and play Epiphany the same turn and kind of go crazy. Rude. Man, they have had the they just have it. They are the best Sultai gamer. They just never miss a beat. All right, they're buying Yorion. They're not trying to. They might just be control. I mean, the Shark Typhoon is kind of a questionable inclusion. Some use it, some don't. They don't have anything to flicker yet with this Yorion either. Are they going to eliminate this? Probably. Where there's smoke, there's fire. The shuffler's fine, so there's always multiples.
If you want to, fight smart.
Let's draw some cards.
Well, this is a real page turner.
Alright, they do have Omen now to go with their beloved Yorion. It's a lot of extra turns. If we can have a Planeswalker on the battlefield to tick up and get some value that way, it would be nice. Let's see how they play this. All right, possibly letting them ultimatum if they are that style of deck. Okay, binding. Could be worse. So let's see, will they tap out? No. Why would they? They will never tap out. I guess if they use a counter on one of our epiphanies, it's not the end of the world, but it's pretty frustrating. Let's go like this. See if we can turn these lands into something a little happier. Negate is nice. If we power this up and attack with it, they'll probably kill it, but we do have a glimpse in the graveyard that we can cast. I'd still rather wait. All right, we just need them to make a frickin' move so we can go Epiphany crazy. It would be nice if we didn't have a Yorion to bash through. Or if we draw another Soul Seer to get rid of the dang thing. But we know that's what they want to do here. All right, could we please find another Planeswalker, another Rowan to play, and then play all these things, and then assume that the opponent actually uses their mana, because they are freaking holding up mana infinite. And I can't tell if they're an ultimatum deck or if they're just all control. When they fetch the Triome, I mean, the amount of interactivity that these decks are starting to bake into everything is ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. If we attack with this and they eliminate it, we can do some nasty things to that. Let's cast this. Nice, nice, very nice. Should use the mana first. So they'll probably, by now, they'll probably put together Ultimatum and a counter spell. Oh, okay. Let's fight over this. Maybe they'll tap out. Maybe they'll tap out here. Of course not. They would never. Or they don't have a counter. I think we have to start putting it to the test. We can't wait any longer. Let's go. Oh, they take it. Okay, resolve, baby. Come on. Did we get there? Okay, then. Holy cow. What was in their hand? I guess a bunch of Shadows verdicts. So, opponent goes first, another Yorion. But this time we have counterspells. And we won last time without them, for the most part. We had, like, one negate in the whole game. On the draw, though. On the draw means you're way behind in the mana game the whole time. It's a tilt, to be honest. All right. Let's set up some Saw It Comings. They don't have Omen of the Sea on turn 2. They don't have Cultivate on turn 3, but they also didn't buy Yorion. So they have something. What is it? What is it? I don't know. I'm just going to keep setting up. Yes, play your Pelika Predation. There's nothing in my hand you can take from me. All right. Iteration. So this is going into exile. Let's hang on to the souls here for the Yorion. It's a good set of cards to kind of paw our way through for sure. Not really what we're looking for. We got to find the turns, all of the turns. Okay. It's a very strong creature, but does have a tendency to get stomped on. So because Stomp has that damage can't be prevented line, and because removing the counters prevents the damage, it's actually pretty cool that you can Stomp on a Polukranos that has 4 toughness and kill it. Don't act like you're not impressed. So if we play one of these, I think we just get bindinged. Would I counter a binding? They did just miss a land drop. I think we wait. I think waiting is better. Hopefully they don't have double Polukranos, but that would be really weird for an ultimatum pile. Yep, they missed their land drop. They don't want to run out their binding. Now we can counter their binding if that's how they spend their turn. So let's send forth the first giant. There was stick on the stack. If they don't play anything here, it does mean they have some kind of a counter spell like a Mystical Dispute. Oh no, and they drew the untapped land, so now they can go Binding Dispute. Gross. Absolutely gross. Yeah, and complete with manual taps. I see what you're doing here. So do we make them use their Mystical Dispute here? I mean, we can just make them have it, right? The other option is to stomp their face, which I don't think is very important. Pretty lucky that they drew the passage, but you could say it was unlucky that they missed a land drop anyway, since they probably run about 60. What's really unlucky is our draw. Too much removal in this matchup, and wow, we found the land. So this will be hand. We want this off Summoning Sickness, so this will be hand. Fjord will be bottom of the library. This will be here. Play you. Play you. Get to work, buddy. There is a tough game to play. When your opponent misses land drops, but then fight their way through it, you know their hand is full of spells. You're on borrowed time. Please, not more manual taps. I guess you gotta do it. You gotta do it. The auto tapper is that bad. In a 3-color deck, especially when it comes to bluffing, if you want to bluff more Mystical Disputes. And it looks like the opponent is going to hold up mana. We'll see what they use it for. We're going to stomp your face, though. Somebody's got to deal damage to you. Rowan. Twin Magic is here. What do we do with it? What do we do with it? I think we draw 2. Mystical Dispute, we can pay our way through it, but then we don't have a counterspell available. Or our counterspell gets countered by their Mystical Dispute. So it might be better to play the Rowan side and go for the emblem. But defending her is going to be mostly impossible. I mean, if their hand has more Mystical Disputes and an ultimatum, are we willing to just lose the game? The other thing I could do is just play the Bone Crusher Giant. I would still have enough for Saw It coming through a Mystical Dispute. If they try to sweep me, I can play the Faceless Haven. I can counter it. I can play Faceless Haven. I can hit them down to 6. Down to 2. Down to 2. And then they can't even target a Giant. And we could top deck lethal. Or Rowan over 2 turns could deal 2 damage. There's a few ways that this could go. Okay. I think this is the better line. Let's see what happens. Shadow's Verdict. Go ahead, dispute me. Wow, they're actually going to force this all the way through with 2 counterspells. They must have just drawn this, or they would have played it earlier. I think. Okay. So they must, like, they're respecting it to the point that they're probably going to die if that resolves. So now we need to load up. Ugh. This is so bad. Test of Talents.
Let's hit the book.
You're telling me there's a chance, because how many more counterspells could they have? This plus now reduces cost, but also does 3, because we drew with the Rowan.
Aren't so different.
So what are they going to do? Looks like they're bringing out Pelucranos. Pelucranos is heavy. Doesn't die easily. 12 is a lot. This is 8, 9, 10 that I see. But, I mean, if we deal 10 to the Pelucranos, it can't stop the Haven. And they're still not buying Yorion, so they have another counter. Yeah. So this turns a creature into an O2. The problem with that is this is a 0/0, so it actually would buff the Pelucranos, so we actually don't want anything to do with that.
Now let's put you on this.
Let's see how many volts you can take.
Do we want to risk the Frostbite? Or do we want to risk the Haven, I should say? Because we could zap this and then turn on Haven and attack. And then still have mana to bring it back the other way. I think we go for it. We need to do this first. We could try to time it, but the opponent might play too smart. They might get around that. We could try to time it with some activation on the Pelucranos. Looks like they'll take the block, which is good. They can't pressure the Planeswalkers. All right, they go for the Heartless Act. Do we let that happen? I guess we have to. We were really hoping to dodge that. If they have the ultimatum, we could just lose, right? As it is right now, we get to keep 2 Planeswalkers, but they're not doing anything. They're not getting any value. This is like an all or nothing. They probably have an ultimatum. They probably have an ultimatum. But what if they don't? They also chose to make this block first. What does that tell us? They're worried about their life total. Yeah, they are just trying to survive until an ultimatum happens. Okay, what if they do ultimatum? They get better planeswalkers than me, but I might still get to ultimate the Rowan if they don't get rid of it. And that's not something that they easily do with their ultimatum. All right. I'm going to take a pretty big chance. They don't have it. Yet. Wow, they drew all the counters in their deck in a matchup where they were really good. We'll be lucky if we get out of here with the win. I was wondering how many counters they ran based on what we saw. The answer is not very many. I feel like they weren't. I feel like they gambled that we wouldn't counter that. Because they also held up that mana. I guess they were holding up the Heartless Act. Now we have a Gargaroth to think about, but we can O2 it. Oh. We did it. We frickin' did it, guys.
Just take a moment and cool off.
More power, more punch.
All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. And then still enough to do this. Not enough to copy it. No! I thought I had enough to copy it. Where did I math wrong? Opponent scoops anyway, but ooh. I thought I had enough to copy it. Oh, that's the cherry on top that I screwed up my maths. I was off by 1. I should have checked the overlay or the QQ. My eyes trying to count these is an old habit from Paper Magic. People ask me all the time, CGB, why don't you just look at the overlay? Because I played Paper Magic for 20 freaking years, you little zoomer. And I'm used to looking at my lands and counting them in my head. It's a habit. It's not because I'm a moron. It's because I've got habits. I'm old. All right, we're crushing the weak. We're biting the frost. This test of talents might be a brick, but we're on the play. And I would keep this 6-card hand for sure. So if this is a brick, it's a brick. Mono red. Mono freaking red. Let's battle. Come on, show me that robber of the rich. Let's go. Bring it out. Yeah. Yeah, buddy. Mono red doing mono red things. I think what I want to do is I want to frostbite either their Bone Crusher Giant or I want to frostbite their Annex and then cast Crush because it will exile the tokens that are left over. So let's express. Do I need another Crush the week after the first one? Mono red sometimes just has infinite 1-drops. And I think that might be better here than an iteration. Also, the Frostbite is not going to kill the Annex if we play the Pathway. But on our next turn, we can play the Frostbite and the Crush on the same turn. But I really wanted to play Rowan. This is actually tricky. This is very tricky. It's too bad I can't use this mana for anything this turn either. It might come back to haunt me. Had to be a Pathway. I don't want to play it on red either because I need double blue. So we're just taking this turn off of Frostbite to let the opponent play their Annex. They do get to rob us. I kind of wanted that. Not gonna lie. There's a Bone Crusher Giant. Now we can also double crush, because remember, this only costs 1 mana now. But we can also, let's see, we can foretell the Epiphany or foretell the next crush the week. Those are both good. All right, let's take you out now that we have 3 snow permanents. Let's crush. What if we just cast this instead of foretelling and just leave this one foretold? All right. Say goodbye to your things, Mono Red. They have all died. What will you do now? Awkward. Kind of wanted the 1 mana to turn this into an O2. Didn't get it. A lot of foretelling and not a lot to do with it. I think we take 4 for a turn, counter an Embercleave if that one is trying to show up. And try to draw land, because that's what we really needed there. If the opponent plays another small creature, we can do like Crush, Giant Stomp. Torbran. Nope. Nope. None of that. None of that. Please run out of gas, you vile red mage. All right. First side of Twin Magic and turn you into an O2. Don't forget that Frostbite can hit Planeswalkers.
Good. This will give me a chance to hone my techniques.
When thinking about casting like Rowan or some of those cards, it's not good. All right, Annex returns, but we have a Crush. We also have an Epiphany we can cast here, which seems really good. We don't really want to do it before we crush the week, though.
You just stay there.
Any creature dealt damage by Crush the Weak gets exiled when it dies, so that's why that sequencing works out. Let's get this on the board. Our Epiphany might be a lot stronger. There's the Frostbite. Not a lot of things to use this on, so let's use it. We don't have to pull out the Frostbites. Part of me wants them to draw Frostbite. It's one of the worst draws in their deck, but it does affect all of our win cons. It hits the Bone Crusher Giants, it hits the Faceless Havens, it hits the Will and Rowan. So there you go. Mono Red dead. All right, we're biting with Frost. We're playing Rowan. We're playing Crush the Weak. And our opponent is playing a Plains. So that freaking dog, man. That pupper's gotta die. But we can wait, try to time it. It even messes up Crush the Weak. Even though this says Exile, the Savior's indestructible ability does protect it. All right, that's gotta die too. I'm just curious, are you gonna sack that Savior to protect your pack leader? Is there anything more noble than defending the Alpha? All right. Let's get this foretold. Good choice. Something's going to get expensive. Probably the Rowan, but who knows. They choose the Frostbite. Dog Nota is no joker. The deck is very real. All right, how do we kill him with Nota? If we hold on to the Crush the Weak Frostbite tag team, they can do it. They can do it. So what I'm thinking I could do this turn instead is stomp the pack leader if they play a Winota, If they play a Blade Historian, that's pretty brutal too. Yeah. Let's chill. We also have Frostbite that we can cast this turn, if we decide to do that instead. Prevent all combat damage. Guess nobody cares about that. So I guess we'll kill the thing that prevents the most damage. They bring out the Rimrock Knight. Okay, the Crush of the Weak is starting to look really good. Actually, is that even the play? Because we can also play Will next turn, which really helps against larger creatures. Let's go with Crush, and let's get the Giant onto the field. Have board presence. Not too surprised by the Apparition, but they know I have a Frostbite. So maybe they're thinking about that right now. Nope, still going after it. Can't resist some Apparition value. So the bad thing about Will shrinking this is it still triggers a Winota. So I guess we need to kill it instead. If we're going to do that, we can foretell the Saw It Coming. Say go. Alright, still no Winota, still no Blade Historian. Let's wait until absolute end step, in case they want to play something we care about more than the Apparition. I think it's worth 2 damage to kind of freeze any powerful card in their hand. Let's draw the cards.
I just need to be patient.
And now we have Saw It Coming for 1 mana to protect Will. And that's all the opponent needs to see. All right. We need red mana, which I'm not willing to gamble on that. Wow, that's 2 Epiphanies, but decent against aggro. It might actually be too slow. Might actually be too slow. Let's find out, though. There are definitely hands this can beat. There are also hands it just can't touch. Will it be the former or will it be the latter? Good old white decks. Okay. Okay. Well, that means they have those nasty 3-drops. So let's foretell this Crush the Weak right away. Before the Elite Spellbinder takes it. Nice. All right. So they're going to make something super expensive. Probably the Prismari command. People seem to have an aversion to that card. Do we hold out for more? I don't think so. I think we set them back. Okay. Might have no plays next turn because everything costs 1 million. That's okay. We can put this out and block the Giant Killer at least. Unless they have another one. If they attack with this... Okay. Our opponent is a frickin' cheater, man. But did they see this? They didn't see it. Or they thought I didn't have the guts to do it. Well, I'm warning you, opponent. I got all the guts right here. So, killing this prevents 3 damage. Killing this prevents let's see. So if I take this out, I take 3. Maybe they won't attack though because of Haven. So let's say go. It's a solid card, but Prismari Command doesn't care. It's kind of weird to play that into the command. Oh, I see. You have 2. Must be nice. So I think we have to kill the Historian. Down to 4. Opponent's on empty. Let's make some birdies. Draws an iteration. I think we want to do this no matter what, though. So we could blow up one of the banners, or we could draw 2 cards. I think blowing up the banner is better. Save the iteration for next turn, start attacking. Okay. Opponent says good game. Are you bailing? Have you had enough? Is Bailing Greyjoy in the house? What are we going to play this turn? I guess I'd rather play the iteration, so... Actually, we don't want to be overloaded on counterspells and no mana to use them. So let's just take the 2 spells. Oh, this is tough. Okay. I'm making it harder than I should. I think we just do this. Man, for some reason my head just wants to explode whenever I'm working on those piles.
Don't worry, this won't take long. I'll make quick work of you.
Let's hold back the blockers. Doggo Wanarumbo. Cool. Love it. It's good magic right there. Twin magic! Twin magic unlocked.
Doesn't matter. Well, this is
Take 3.
I've learned lots
Stompy stomps.
from artists.
Now we're on the move. Saw it coming. Can we cast for 1 here? Have you had enough? I've not had enough.
take a moment.
I always
There's the emblem. The twins just keep fighting in the background. Double glimpse, nice. Let's just grab more removal. Torture the white player. Torture the mono white, let's go. This is how it was meant to happen, as Teferi would say. We're doing it. We're doing it. It's brutal. It's everything I wanted. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Izzet spell giant combo, whatever. It's twin magic. And wherever there is twin magic, there will always be victory. So right on the edge of the top 100 as we do our in-game, in-match, post-game wraps. And if you want to check out the stats for the deck, check out untap.gg. There's a link in the description. Also, the deck list link takes you right to the stats. I'm going to warn you straight up. They're really good. This was a very nice run today. I didn't even play particularly awesome. There's a lot of things I'd do differently in hindsight, but I think the deck has a lot more legs than expected. It is light on win cons. Take good care of your Bone Crusher Giants. Take good care of your Faceless Havens. Take good care of your Alrund's Epiphanies and your Will and Rowans, and have them treat you right. But there might be a future to this Planeswalker. Will and Rowan seem like they are legitimately strong in the right circumstance, and I really enjoyed playing the deck. The idea that you can get two of kind of the same but not the same Planeswalker down at the same time, and their abilities complementing each other so well, that's pretty nice. So thank you for watching this video. As always, I'll see you in the next video. You're cool.